do next. They bite up a whole racing complex. Snake in the Palisade. Snake in the Palisade.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Snake in the Palisade. And the biting hard. Snake in the Palisade. I'm sorry for Trinidad. I'm there, I'm a hammer. Do I am, do I am, do I am. Him a letter. I want to ask him a question. If he knew what was going on. The other day I was passing, I hear people complaining. He is the man with the answer, but he quite over yonder. They say
yes, indeed, of course. Pleasant good night to all and sundry. Sorry about the tardiness, but I've been working hard whole day. We have been moving, of course, to the new facility at George Street. It's coming along fine, but of course, we expect it to be a bit delayed, and it may take us into maybe the early next week. But of course, we continue to persevere, and as a result, I just came from there. I had to drop, of course, some of the persons who specialize in certain areas like the plumbing and, of course, the electrician, and, of course, most importantly, the doors and, of course, the installing of locks. All of that had to take place. And then there were some challenges, and we had, of course, to resolve that. So thus, of course, I am about 15 minutes late, but better late than never. Of course, in the background, you'll be seeing, of course, that horrible oil spill that, of course, Dr. Rowley and the government is saying that they are totally ignorant about, they don't know. But then they told us as well that the boat that they saw capsized as bottom up was in fact, of course, carrying lumber and gravel. Well, if it was so, how come? And of course, attracting international attention. I tell you me, snake really in the Balizé. This man is totally blind.
Snake in the Palisade, and the biting hard. Snake in the Palisade. I'm sorry for Trinidad. I hear in the rumor, the country in danger. Them snake have no feelings. They just bite up anything. I hear they bite up the money and have the country in jeopardy. They bite up the pipeline, no water for the swine. I don't know what they would do next. They bite up a whole racing complex. Snake in the Palisade. Snake in the Palisade.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Snake in the Palisade. And the biting hard. Snake in the Palisade. I'm sorry for Trinidad. I'm there, I'm a hammer. Do I am, do I am, do I am.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry. This is, yes, the Corridor Transformation. Your, of course, host, Lennox Smith. And, of course, I thought it was important, of course, to demonstrate once again and to put another, should I say, segment, another cog, another striated level of stupidity and dotishness and incompetence that is, of course, this government in generality. And there it is, of course, you have Heinz dancing the monkey, or is it the alligator? Because, of course, he seemed to be very fond of dirty water, as we saw when, of course, his own constituents ran him out of the Bitham. But he would, of course, want to ignore that and see that as competence. I want to tell you, that as Rowley would say, when somebody or a government, start to blame the opposition for its incompetence and impotence, it has outlived its usefulness. That is a true cliche. And therefore, Rowley must get the hell out of office under the PNM. It will be a long, hot 12 months. And on the 18th, of course, of next month, we will up the temperature a greater degree of Fahrenheit or Celsius. Yes, indeed. As the population has reached the zenith, as they display ad nauseum, chicanery, evil, mismanagement, and telling us in our faces, utilizing traditional media, that they are doing well. They alone know that. They are doing well. They are doing well. That is what they are saying. Let's go straight to the line immediately and take your call. Don't forget, of course, there's a delay. So hold on. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Pleasant good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you.
I want to throw your mind back a little.
Go ahead.
You could recall when we had the Tobago THA election and the Prime Minister went on a political platform and told Tobagonians if they ever vote against him, he would never forgive them.
Yes, I remember that very distinctly.
All right, I say no more that I'll listen off it.
I hear you, my friend. What that shows people is that he's vindictive. And any formula or any machiation that you would come up with, so long as it is nestled in evil and vindictiveness, bet your bottom dollar that Rowley is at the forefront and therefore can be held culpable for the abuse of office and for the exploitation of the privilege and the honor normally that the normal person would take in being, of course, exalted or elevated to high office. Not Rowley. Simply an abuser, a conman, and a trickster. Bubble after bubble. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night.
Hello?
Yes, welcome. Hear you loud and clear.
A pleasant good night to you, Lennox. Lennox, you're breaking up really bad.
Wow.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, you're loud and clear. Yes, I'm hearing you. Yes. Yes.
All right. All right. Lennox, good night to you and to everybody on the live. And happy Valentine's. Happy
Same to you.
Valentine's to everybody, Lennox.
Same to you.
Lennox, yes, he did. He did say it when he was at Tobago. To vote for Duke, he will never forgive them. Right?
Yes.
He always threatened somebody with something. And I remembered well, as an opposition leader, he said, "Whenever resorts to blaming the opposition, they have outlived their usefulness." And no, 8 years later, 9 years later, that same statement will come back to haunt him from the day he walked into office. Because he has been blaming the opposition, the present opposition, from the day he came in until present. Every failure Keith Rowley had, he blamed the opposition for it, right? Now, Lennox, I sent you several messages today. I don't know if I know you were busy. I realized
Yes,
that you were
very,
busy.
very. But I'll check
Yes,
them out
and,
tonight. I'll check them out tonight. But I
yeah.
did not. Yeah, I'll check them out tonight.
And because Silver Fox was trying to get in touch with you. But
Yes.
tonight, Lennox, I, as part of your well, how you call me, the external
Correspondent.
contributor,
Yeah,
I would like I would like Lennox to apologize to the people of Tobago for the insensitive statement that was made by Arima, saying that it's good for the people of Tobago what happened with the oil spill. I want to apologize to them for that. Because, Lennox, I have a lot of friends in Tobago, and they are good people. What it is was said. And that is very insensitive. And that is very insensitive. Didn't ask for that to happen. That destroyed their economy for this weekend. A lot of people depending on tourists of them coming there to have a good time or whatever. They lost a lot. And it was very insensitive. And I don't care. I don't care which type of Cinderella we have to shoot. This. But the people of Tobago were hurt. Lennox, you know much of them were calling me since that statement was made.
All right.
I guess they couldn't get in touch with you, so they were calling me. But I want to apologize for that statement. Because some people talk but they don't think. They really, really don't think. They're more cash and checks that the pocket can't handle.
I hear you.
Lennox, our next thing. I listened to you last night playing that thing with Keith Rowley. What that man really went to Tobago for? To mama guide the people? To show them what they can come across? Look at how long that happened. Was he waiting for the dust to settle, as they say, and then to go so nobody will call his name? Something is on. What's your box? Everybody sees that is behind the fig leaf. And Rowley feels that we in this country thinking. And you keep staring at it's going to be a long, hot 12 months.
Of course.
And the people of this country don't stand up now and see what it is going on and give him his portion. Well, I don't know what again. And before I leave, Lennox, I want to ask you, did you see the video with the little boy gyrating on the wall? No.
Repeat that. Repeat that for me.
You spoke from since Carnival, coming into Carnival Saturday about lewd behavior.
Yes,
but we didn't think we would have gotten lewd from a child. But you see me, Lennox, I would have only put a cocktail on that child in front of everybody. The woman that gets some too. No, I not shifting any blame from on her, you know, because she has no right to do what she did. And I really hope the police find her. But you could see the way that child was behaving. That was a learned behavior. That was a learned behavior. And I think it was a CPF worker who pulled them off the woman. Right? You want to tell me a big woman like you could find nobody else to call on but a little child, and my boy was whining back. Lennox Hatcher could never have been more than 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
He will have get it good and proper. And when the police find her, they should find his parents and have a serious talk with him. Because you don't know what that is going to. They better bend that tree. I'll put it this way. They better bend that tree from now. Because you don't know what is going to inspire a few years to come.
Yes.
I felt ashamed for the two of them. And if that is the carnival is all about, they should really cancel carnival. Or ban people like that from entering Port of Spain. Lennox, thanks a lot and have a good night for listening to my 2 cents.
Yes, indeed. And of course, to give credence to the Tobago caller and the question or the issue that he would have raised with respect, of course, to Dr. Rowley's unforgiving or unforgiveness of Tobagonians if they vote for What's Duke. I want to remind you that it was on the basis that Watson Duke has a rape charge. Let me repeat. Rowley, in self-righteous indignation, false and fake, a sudden pillar of morality, a paragon of virtue, false as it is. He was castigating Tobagonians and maligning Tobagonians and threatening Tobagonians and insulting Tobagonians, saying that because Watson Duke is on a rape charge, that he does not fit the bill to be, of course, a representative of the people. There is no law against that. If you, of course, infringe electoral laws, then, of course, you will be barred from contesting an election. But the system tries, of course, to generate the concept that there must be not only free and fair elections, but persons who believe that they command, of course, and have something to contribute to the society and to the group that they want to represent or serve. There should be no impediment or barring of such individuals. If that was so for Watson Duke, then Rowley could and ought not to be Prime Minister, far less for leader of the PNM, because he himself is a blasted rapist and pedophile. It's just that he has not yet faced the criminal justice system, and there is no time bar, there is no legal impediment for that criminal behavior. Rowley, a pleasant good night. There should be no. Pleasant good night.
Good night, Lennox. How you going, boy?
Well, of course, as
Yeah,
per
good night. How
usual,
you going?
hard work today, a sleepy, a tired, but of course, I have to keep going because my country is in jeopardy and all of us must play our respective specialized or generalized role to arrest it from those vipers called PNM, Rowley, and his cabinet, as they have, of course, weaponized it against the people. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, fret over, Lennox, back to work. You understand?
Sure,
Fret
right.
over. But you talking about the PNM, but you talking about the PNM, you ain't seen them. I ain't seen them in assessing what environmental disaster taking over there. All I see is Fali. They seem to be like Fali, the Prime Minister of Tobago. Because it looks like they're giving this man no help at all. They just want the man to look stupid. And I finally see that the owner of this vessel come out and talking and saying that it was en route to Guyana, but They try to contact the Guyanese authority and they didn't answer no question. So I listen, this whole thing is a mystery how that boat come and end up there and sink and all kind of thing. But somebody had to pay for that. The taxpayers of the country cannot fund that. The ownership of that boat, the owners of that boat, that vessel, have to be the one culpable for that. You understand? That is an environmental disaster that took place, and there will be millions of dollars that are spent to clean up that whole mess. And Rowley and company, they persona non grata, they know wrong, no way. You ain't seen none of them. They disappear, they get
PM
raptured
Rowley was
away
in
or something
opposition,
like
he
that.
said. Anytime
This
a
is
government
something for the
resorts to
Prime Minister
blaming the
to deal with,
opposition for its
and he's
failure
not
to
wrong.
deliver on a
Anyway, you
mandate
can't
and their
expect them
responsibilities to
from
the
a
people.
disaster taking place in this country. All of them just be disappearing. Hines, Erla, Dr. Rowley, anybody that involved with this government. They'll be mom, they'll be like ghosts all over the place. You can't see them. Understand? You see them before Carnival, when disaster takes place, they're gone. But Dr. Rowley has an answer for this what is going on here now and clean it up. Don't leave Farley alone. Farley is the Chief Secretary of Tobago. You the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. You have to get on in that part of the country which you come from and clean it up. Get help from outsiders and clean up that damn thing because as far as I'm concerned, that is a disaster. How about that, Clara?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, my friend. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But it was him, he, Rowley, who made this bold statement. Once again, self-righteous indignation galore and obvious and conspicuous, both in terms of our sensation and in terms of our understanding and his consistent a propensity to be hypocritical. Farley only mentioned that a whistleblower came to him and told him that Rowley was conspiring with others to undermine the authority of the THA administration, which he leads. And Rowley was upset. And he called him a little boy. And he said that he is better than him. All of them contest an election to be where they are. But Rowley says he's better than him. Only because, as you quite rightly have assessed, Rowley is annoyed, but he cannot contain his irascibility, his choleric disposition. Cannot. And therefore, he is constantly in a state of apoplexy. Apoplectic. Constantly. But let's go straight, of course, to the line as well as we examine the comments that you would have made and, of course, my substantive matter tonight. A pleasant good night. Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night. Going once, going twice. Pleasant good night. All right, caller, you have to call back. I'm not getting you. Yes, indeed. But he's a constant state of apoplexy. He's annoyed. He is ruthless and brutal. And he would say things. And as I've always said, don't be surprised if he used even obscenity. He reached close to that in San Juan recently. But I'm talking about pure and unadulterated obscenity. Yes, language that are so foul that when expressed in public attracts a criminal offense. Yeah, that is Rowley. But let us go straight, of course, to his hypocritical statement. As I said, he said that he will not forgive Tobagonians for voting Farley and them because Duke would have been their leader at the time. Let's put it in perspective and historical context. But he, Rowley, a blasted rapist and a pedophile, he wants you, as if you're stupid, and the Tobagonians prove that they are not stupid. And of course, Trinidadians are yet, and they say what in meter impartial, to show how to get rid. And of course, make extinct destroy totally, annihilate unequivocally Rowley and his bunch of opportunistic political and, as I say, idiocratic and kleptocratic group of individuals calling themselves a cabinet and consequentially prime minister and ministers. But let's hear him, of course, with the one that was raised. When, of course, our external correspondent said that, listen, when a government begins to blame the opposition for its inadequacy, for its consummate and total failure, then it has outlived its usefulness. Listen to this.
PM Rowley was in opposition, he said. Anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition for its failure to deliver on their mandate and their responsibilities to the people, it is a clear sign that they have accepted that they have outlived their usefulness. Why hypocritical PM Rowley is not out of office by taking his own advice? Obviously, he even lied to himself. When PM Rowley was in opposition, he said, anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition for its failure to deliver on their mandate and their responsibilities to the people, it is a clear sign that they have accepted that they have outlived their usefulness. Why hypocritical PM Rowley is not out of office by taking his own advice? Obviously, he even lied to himself.
Yes, indeed. Lied to himself and the upside down, like the boat that is now spilling its contents, its cargo, on the shores and in the waters of Tobago. Let's go straight to the line. Blessed good night. Welcome to the corridor. Blessed good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night to you too.
Finally. Speak a little louder, and I think we will be all right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right then. You know, I want to say something serious.
Wow. I'm not hearing you at
Can you hear
all.
me now?
Go ahead. Let's try it again. No.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, so,
Yeah, something has gone wrong. Something has gone wrong. I'm not hearing you. Something has gone wrong. You know, these days, anything can happen because remember, Rowley and they know that we have advocated and we have the capacity, as one good friend would have told me a long time ago, that today that there are people who, of course, especially when they're doing evil, they believe that the ordinary person doesn't have response capability. Let me repeat that. Rowley and them believe that the people do not have response capability because all of the billions in the treasury, they believe they command. All of the assets of the state, they believe they command. All of the institutions of state, they believe they command. And therefore, the ordinary people like you and I do not have, of course, the response capability. Well, we have shown him that he's not only wrong, but let's qualify that wrong. He is damn wrong. He's absolutely wrong. He is horribly and terribly wrong. And we will conquer this evil that is Rowley assembled and, of course, executed on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Let's say him again. In this hypocritical disposition, why the hell he is not in office? Why the hell? In other words, he is still in office. Why? Haven't said what he said, but he never meant it, as we have proven time and time again. And as I said, he told Tobagonians he arrogated onto himself some moral compass, some person that is morally and probably spiritually, all of which are fake, of course, superior to everybody else, and him not forgiving somebody, he believed that he is Jesus Christ. He believed he is Jesus Christ. But of course we know he's the devil incarnated. The devil manifested. The devil humanized. And the devil not just in dogmatic terms, but he's a total ass to believe that somehow what he says, something like when he also indicated that he will bring down Lavantil. You know, he say he go bring across Carenage or Diego Martin. Why? Why? Lavantil? Why? Because he feels that you all are gullible and that you are stupid enough to fight his fight. You're going to see that when Blue Lights and Silver Bracelet take him. And you must remember him for the evil that he has descended on the people and Trinidad and Tobago, and you in Lavantil and along the East-West corridor in particular. In particular. Let's say him again. So then, it was moral and ethical self-righteous indignation, because he never meant it.
PM Rowley was in opposition, he said. Anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition for its failure to deliver on their mandate and their responsibilities to the people, it is a clear sign that they have accepted that they have outlived their usefulness. Why hypocritical PM Rowley is not out of office by taking his own advice? Obviously, he even lied to himself. When PM Rowley was in opposition, he said, anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition for its failure to deliver on their mandate and their responsibilities to the people, it is a clear sign that they have accepted that they have outlived their usefulness. Why hypocritical PM Rowley is not out of office by taking his own advice? Obviously, he even lied to himself.
Yes, indeed. And what he does, he says things that in the future exist to haunt him. Because I remember him distinctly saying, apart from not forgiving Tobagonians because they will be voting for a rapist, and somehow, by some epiphany, by some abstract dose of nonsensicality and hoodwinking and illusion and phantom, he says the most phantasmagorical stories that any human being could concoct, but always to some personal agenda and self-serving. How the hell you mean? Because what? Because Watson Duke has a rape charge. And don't get me vexed, you sycophants. If I play it, you know, all the tired are tired. I'll play it, you know. I'll find it and play it. Don't play it defending the indefensible. He's a blasted rapscallion, a rapist and a pedophile. And I suspect it takes one to know one. But of course, I will not put my neck on the line for what's a joke. But I will be saying that his matter is before the court. And it is between two adults. Rowley had sexual intercourse and made his first child with a minor under the age of 18. Let's go straight to the line.
When PM Rowley was in opposition, he said, anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition for its failure to deliver on their mandate and their responsibilities to the people, it is a clear sign that they have outlived their usefulness.
Right?
Yes, go ahead, yes.
Thank you. Okay, I'll just make my comment quick, and I will make it boring, but I want to say something about that oil spill. Now,
Go ahead.
we get lots of oil spill globally. There are many ships that dump oil waste in the ocean, and there are consequences in the environment, especially in the ocean. But nobody pays up. Nobody is liable. These cargo containers, these cargo ships, they will abandon a ship, thief oil from illegally from other countries that are producing oil. That oil probably come from Venezuela, probably, or and so it was illegally being shipped, or maybe it came from Iran and it was being shipped to Venezuela. We don't know. There's nobody telling us anything, and they just dump it there and let it just dump in the ocean and kill marine life and cause destruction to the ocean and the tourist industry in a small island. They don't these big crooks who run the oceans and run those cargo ships, they don't give a crap. They're just like traffickers because they work for big companies that exploit countries like ours. And when you have a national security minister who is dancing for carnival and not worrying about the safety of the country, I mean, it really says a lot, The Prime Minister should have been there from day one. And he just, you just said he was a rapist and what? We're calling him names? This man is unfit for office. Many presidents and prime ministers get assassinated, and assassination is something that sometimes the country have to get when they want to move forward, to change it. You see that guy in El Salvador, Bukele? You know who Bukele's grandparents were? They were Palestinians. It's like the Syrians here. And look at Bukele today. He is the president, the prime minister, or the president of El Salvador. They have the lowest crime rate now. And the United States say how Bukele was violating human rights. You could walk on the street tonight in El Salvador and you wouldn't get killed. But the United States is telling everybody that they're cheating and they're violating human rights. You ever been to the United States prison? That Epstein guy was dead and nobody knew why. Hang himself, You see, maybe one day a leader will come, and it might be somebody like a Bukele, because I tell you something, them Syrians, man, they don't mess with nobody. And when they really get fed up, they will see something. So anyway, that's my comment. Thanks.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And it makes sense, and very relevant, because you cannot be so blasted. Do as I say, but don't do as I do. Be what I say, but do not be what I am. That is that level of hypocritical behavior of this man. And he boldfacedly stands on up. In fact, I think PNM run him after that statement because they realized that it was a no-brainer and a nonsensical one at a time when people of course, in a frenzy for the PDP in Tobago at the time. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good evening to you, Lennox, and to your viewers worldwide.
Yes, the same to you.
Or your listeners, I should say.
Yes.
Right. Lennox, I am very, very concerned about that woman's safety. The mother of Rowley's first child, his son. Because you repeat, and I agree with it, that he is a pedophile and a rapist, rightly so. But Rowley, being the criminal that he is, and seeing that the only way to make that, because as you said earlier, there are no statute of limitations where that is concerned. Right?
That's
you
right.
can, I mean,
Criminal
you see what's happening
charges.
with Bill Cosby, you see what's happening with Donald Trump, etc.
That's right.
So there's no statute of limitation. And so the only way to make that go away would be to eliminate both the child and its mother. And Rowley is not beyond that. He's a scumbag. He's a criminal. We know that.
Yes.
And the other thing is Tobago, that thinking of that vessel that capsized, that I don't think that was no accident. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have, that's my own belief. I mean, I look at the sittings, the plenary sittings in Tobago House of Assembly, and I listened to that idiot, Calvin Morris, who's the minority leader, PNM.
Yes.
And the garbage, he is very disruptive. He interrupts for no reason at all. And one thing I realized with the PNM would tell a lie. And regardless of what evidence there is to contradict the lie, they continue to repeat the lie, repeat it. And of course, a lot of fools, idiots, will buy into it. But as far as I could see, Rowley is not doing good in Tobago. He's not doing good in Trinidad, except, of course, among the sycophants. But there's an election around the corner. And Rowley, he knows he's not doing good. He has to come up with something to this, because I think the two states in Tobago East and Tobago West, form the next government. So Rowley has to find some way, some means of making the Tobago People's Party, FALI, and the current governing THA body, he has to find a way of making those people look bad. And he does not care how he does it, as long as he does it. So I don't put anything past those criminals that belong to that organization called the PNM. But I'm really concerned, seriously, because I say you had a pre-action protocol letter against Rowley. And I don't know what happened with that, because it was a while since I was online to listen to the corridor of transformation.
He has not responded. 6 months. But just a matter of time. You will see, you will hear and see.
Well, in a little while?
I said that 6 months. But of course,
Could you repeat what you said, Leonard?
I said that 6 months. Yes, 6 months. But you will hear and see the outcome of that. He has not responded as yet.
Oh. All right. Okay. So he has a time period in which to respond.
Yes, and that has long gone.
Is that what you're saying?
So the ball is in my court.
So what is the next step then?
Full action.
So what is the next step?
A full claim and action in the High Court. Yeah.
would he then be subpoenaed and has to appear in the court?
He will have to attend court in those circumstances. Yes.
All right. I will be outside the court. I'll have to take a special trip to Trinidad. I will walk with a hangman loose. You know how the KKK does it in the U.S.?
Yes.
When they want to intimidate people?
Ku Klux Klan, yes.
Yeah. We need a hangman loose for that bastard called Rowley. Anyway, that is my contribution for the night.
Yes.
All right, take care.
Yes.
Well,
it's all part of a long, hot 12 months of 2024. As the old people say, what a meteor impassio, Rowley. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Become competent from all. And somehow, these iniquitous, criminalistic, as well as nefarious acts will go unpunished. You being the perpetrator, and of course your government representatives calling themselves ministers, including Hines. Let's say him again on the question of a government blaming opposition as he is doing now, and he is in government. His usefulness has come to an end. His usefulness has been exhausted. It is now ad nauseum, sickening. But let's go to the lines. I'm going to play it after of course, the call. A pleasant good night. Welcome. That's a good night. Welcome.
Yeah, pleasant good night, Mr. Lawrence. Yeah, I want to say good night to everybody in live, everybody in chat, everybody reaching internationally. I want to say happy Valentine's Day to all the lovely ladies on the chat and all the gentlemen. I hope you guys had a wonderful Valentine's Day. And let me continue praying for Trinidad and Tobago. So, Mr. Lennox, I appreciate the caller who just called in and give his opinion about the matter with Tobago, but this is my opinion about the matter in Tobago. The PNM and Rowley is going to play nice ball with Tobago from now on before the elections. Because the PNM and Rowley knows that the 2 seats in Tobago is going to be won by the Fali. And then Fali will have a decision to make. And if the PNM is playing good ball with you, because right now, Fali is not even considering PNM. He's thinking about putting what he wants to the UNC. So if the PNM playing nice ball and giving them everything what they want, you want vessels, you want this, you want that, we're going to play nice ball with you. And this is what PNM always does. Coming close to election, they give you what you want, what you need. Take it. And then, but Fadi is a guy who's very educated. So he will see through that story that what the PNM is doing. Because actually with the oil is an international situation. It's called with climate control and all of that. So he has no choice but to give whatever is needed to be able to resolve this problem. And the other thing too, Mr. Lennox, all right, Tanwell is done. We're in the winter season, but people always remember, soon there's going to be an election, and soon we don't need to forget the past, what happened in 8 years. Always keep reminding ourselves, always keep going back in Mr. Lennox old videos, keep watching it over to refresh your memory. Because don't we have a 10 days mentality no more because the time is close. I'm smelling election, Mr. Lennox, before 2025. I'm smelling it. So we need to be prepared. Go and get the ID card and check. Make sure that your kids' ID card and check. And let's get ready to dip our finger for our future with the UNC. Thank you very much, Mr. Nelson. You have a good night.
Thank you very much as well, my friend. And well said, beautiful contribution. Yes, indeed. And of course, once again, that self-righteous indignation, proclivity, propensity, tendency, inclination will not work, Rowley. We have seen through you, and it is so transparent and conspicuous that you are now looking like a buffoon, exhibiting those theatrics and histrionics. You're just acting. We know you. We know you. And of course, the country has already performed its exorcism to get rid of this devil and Rowley already. And all they have to do now is to engage in the process of elimination. Because it has outlived its usefulness. I'll take this one. I'll take this one from the phone. I'll take this one from the phone. I'll take this one from the phone. Welcome. Yes. Good night to you.
You hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. Yes.
You go forgive them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes, man.
And as far as
very well. When he burned down, he burned everybody and himself up. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yeah. And of course, as you talk that, it reminds me of Jim Jones Closer Home in Guyana. Yes, 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 yes. Make them, yeah, he make them drink cyanide, the most lethal, yeah, the most lethal of poisons known to man. Yes, cyanide, and everybody gone.
But I get you that, like, we get you said, you see that about, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to put them on your boat.
Okay.
Because I want everybody to hear what I can say about that boat.
All right.
I can't listen.
Go ahead.
That boat during World War II called the Calypso. I tried to call a man today, but they don't talk too much on that program.
All right.
Calypso. I was operating on that 10 flags there.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
right.
British intelligence gets their hell before they become that. That's today, that's what she'll go on.
Right.
And I don't know where this boat come from. But I want to tell you about that in the morning to everybody to hear about that boat.
No problem, no problem.
Right? Tomorrow everybody will do that.
All right, okay.
I was talking about Calypso and Soca and all this. Tomorrow I will tell you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Same to you, my friend. Same to you, my friend. Yes, indeed. So people who have their own notions and their own conclusions, but all of which is to demonstrate that there is more in the mortar than the pestle, and that Rowley days are numbered, and that he and his cabinet asses are grasses. Yes, he and his cabinet are grasses. Yes, indeed. And retribution will come, because it is a fundamental rule. Evil cannot prevail over good. Let's hear this evil man again. in a bout of self-righteous indignation.
Anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition for its failure to deliver on their mandate and their responsibilities to the people, it is a clear sign that they have accepted that they have outlived their usefulness. Why hypocritical PM Rowley is not out of office by taking his own advice? Obviously, he even lied to himself. When PM Rowley was in opposition, he said, anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition for its failure to deliver on their mandate and their responsibilities to the people, it is a clear sign that they have accepted that they have outlived their usefulness. Why hypocritical PM Rowley is not out of office by taking his own advice? Obviously, he even lied to himself.
Yes, indeed. But there is more in terms of his hypocrisy and his inability to manage anything and his absolute failure and disaster as a politician, as a policymaker, as an executioner. And take that word any which way you wish. Executioner. And listen to him in his classic role of the hypocrite addressing the media. And he loved them too bad, and he will regale them at Balizé House, trying to, of course, make friends or invigorate or encourage or associate others to, of course, engage in his iniquitous and evil and criminalistic and larcenous conduct. He loves a saying, tailoring things towards wrongdoing. That is Rowley. He spoke it already. Tailoring things towards wrongdoing. Yes, indeed. Listen to him. Yes, indeed. He loved the media too bad, but listen to him. That hypocrite.
What do you think she told me? What we talked about? Her guilt? Are you implying that she told me yes, she was guilty of taking public money and I told her yes, is that what you say? Are you implying that she told me about her guilt and I covered it up? I am asking you a question. That question you just asked me, whether she pled her innocence. Are you implying that she did otherwise and I covered it up? What is the question?
We have to go to the line, of course. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting. Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night.
Pleasant good night again, Mr. Lennox.
Yes. Go ahead.
Mr. Lennox?
Yes, go ahead. I'm here. Hear you loud and clear.
Yes, Mr. Lennox. I just want you, if you get that video with when he say he would never forgive them. And if you can play that, because we can't say with what we really want to say. But that video would bring people, that will open people's mind and understand what it is really taking place.
All right. I certainly will.
When he say on the platform that he would never forgive them.
I certainly will. I certainly will. That's it? Want me to play that? Yes. If it doesn't put too much pressure on the system, I will search for it simultaneously, whilst, of course, we are engaged. But the system sometimes, would buckle under the pressure because every night is pressure. Yes, and of course, I want to thank all those who made a contribution when I did, in fact, ask for it. And I got, of course, a new system that not to the 100% that we would like, but there's always room for improvement when you are, of course, moving to the top. And I think that this is an improvement. But let me just try to find that particular request that was made. I will leave the computer to look for it. Whilst, of course, I continue with Dr. Rowley and his hypocrisy as far as journalists are concerned. Yes, indeed. I have done so, and I will, of course, go back to Dr. Rowley and his journalistic hypocrisy, for want of a better term.
Did she assure you of her?
Yes, she did.
I'm a great fan of the media, as you know.
Yes, indeed. Listen
I'm
to
a
him
great
again.
fan of the media, as you know. I'm a
All
great
you know that.
fan of the media, as you know.
Assure you of her innocence?
What do you think she told me? What we talked about? Her guilt? Are you implying that she told me yes, she was guilty of taking public money and I told her yes, is that what you say? Are you implying that she told me about her guilt and I covered it up? I am asking you a question. That question you just asked me, whether she pled her innocence. Are you implying that she did otherwise and I covered it up? What is the question?
Did she assure you of her innocence?
Yes, she did.
I'm a
That
great
journalist was
fan of the media, as you
firm,
know.
and of course, very,
I'm a great
what I consider
fan
to
of the
be.
media, as you know.
Minister, one of the things concerning the charges of the allegations thereof and so on,
Jill, I think I'm going to end this press conference now. Can I tell you one thing? You see when we had this press conference and I allow you to come in here, all of you, and you come in, I stand up here until sometimes my feet hurt and I answer all your questions. But I'm not going to sit here and let the press conferences become, you come in here as accredited press people and you have imps outside putting questions to you on your phone and I'm standing here answering, giving my political opponents from outside. I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying, I just think that we've exhausted these questions. Okay? So your main interest is to see if you could pin this to the Prime Minister. I wish you luck. Good day. Thank you very much for coming.
I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know.
Mr. Prime Minister, Urvashi again, there have been allegations of some level of financial impropriety. Now, these allegations are online. They come from someone who is said to be a relative of a cabinet minister. Government official is under scrutiny by the United States. Some are saying, Mr. Prime Minister, that this is you. So I have to ask if you are aware of any member of your cabinet or any member of your government are subject to any sort of such investigation.
Let me tell you what I'm aware of, Beshi. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know.
As a comic.
But when the media is taking its timing from social media foolishness, I really don't want to get involved in that. Right? So my time is too valuable. And I think your time too is too valuable to allow some, I don't want to be uncharitable, some person who will put a bile without a shred of evidence or a source of credibility anyway. And let's not go around it. I saw the post, and it didn't take long for my name to be associated with it. And I was amazed, I must say I was amazed at the level of nastiness that existed in the national community, where there were people who were prepared to receive that with great gusto, hoping that it was true. And I just felt sorry for such persons. Foolishness, written by some person or person unknown, that I had problems with the United States authorities with respect to money laundering, and that my absence from returning here is because I was being detained in America. That is entertainment of the fools, and you should leave it alone.
Fathomable, because when he was speaking or demonstrating his ability to utter diatribe. One can only reminisce and remember the emails, the false pieces of paper that he put in the parliament that is treasonous, claiming that a sitting prime minister was conspiring with others to kill a journalist. That mingy dog, that political kobo, Rowley, he said that and did that, and he had it 6 months before, and wanted the Integrity Commission to look at it because he knew that he went home by Ken Gordon, who was the chairman of the Integrity Commission at the time, and he also had, of course, Justice Ventor as the vice chairman. So he knew, and he plotted, and he planned, and he comes up with this sophisticated chicanery and plots, as we have seen. Subsequently, with, of course, Vincent Nelson, that is no easy fate to accomplish, you know. You have a number of moving and opposing parts that you had to put together, and they almost succeeded. You know what it is. To, of course, cause the police to investigate in such a way so as to charge for misbehavior in public office, kickbacks, a fella like Ram Logan and Ramdeen. You know what you had to do in order to of course, engage that. You know how much bribe you had to pay. You know how much convincing you had to convince. You know how much persons you had to get on board for 30 pieces of silver. And Rowley and they accomplished that. They pay off. So they thought, Vincent Nelson, to bear witness against Anand Ramlogan and Ramdeen. But clearly, the stench, the putrid, the stinkness of that whole scenario. Rowley was on top of the world at the time. Because there is a German expression called Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. People who have a propensity, a predilection to watch people suffer, to revel in people's pain and ache and agony and oppression. And that's Rowley. He went all over the country. He's talking about Pamasa and that Kamla Prasad Bisesa, former associates and ministers. He going on, the whole idea is to put them in blue lights and silver bracelets. He was saying that all over the country. But the Lord moves in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. And eventually somebody said, no, this passed across my desk. It is a fabrication of unlimited proportion. But Rowley didn't mind, because his nature is to destroy, especially where he can advance his political kobo behavior. Political kobo. And of course, nestled in the fact that he is a criminal of a licentious and a sexually immoral perspective. I'm talking about he raped Miss Allen. She bore his first son, Gat Allen, at the age of 17. And 9 months before that, she must have been 16. And we don't know when he started, of course, to have intercourse with this child. This child, people. This child. And he comes in your face and continues, of course, to orchestrate and to tailor things to suit his kobo mentality and political aggrandizement And he's comfortable with those kinds of iniquities. So he gets a doctorate organized with his friend to get, of course, an honorary doctorate because they knew Biden, the president of the United States, would have been there as well, being honored. That is the level of shenanigans. That is the level of orchestration. That is the level of complexity that this man is engaging. And don't tell me you don't understand what I am saying and that it is impossible for a human being to think that far. Well, as an expert, as a criminologist, I can tell you that people like Rowley are serial, of course, a sociopath, serial sociopath, because the fake oil was another major concoction that possibly have outdone and should have outdone the fake oil, or indeed the Vincent Nelson, yes, or indeed the Brent Thomas kidnapping from Barbados. Outdone simply because that particular conduct, that decision to close down Petrotrin affected over 65,000 persons negatively, plunged them out of employment, and in a state of discombobulation or confusion and deterioration of their socio-economic and psycho-cultural circumstance. Because he wanted to escape interrogation from the police. That time, of course, it was the inimitable Gary Griffith at the helm, and he would have, and he did insist on investigating the fake oil. Rowley name call, they closed down Petrotrin. And worse yet, he got his cabinet to agree. So the entire cabinet, he, Rowley, and the cabinet must be held and cannot exculpate themselves from the criminal liability that they have to not just the criminal justice system, but to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Let's say him continue to insult the journalist and at the same time saying that he funds, he loves, he appreciates the journalists and the media only when it suits his calling. But when the thing turn around, he's apoplectic.
And to you, this Prime Minister doesn't have those problems. Understood? And for those young people in particular who think this is par for the course and who think that where there's smoke, there's fire, let me just say to you all, I have no account in any bank outside of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know.
And Prime Minister, you made reference to a question that I would have sent you via WhatsApp.
I said that?
Yes.
You sent me a question about what?
On the due diligence aspect. So
you admit that?
Yes, I did.
So don't go any further. So I advise you, don't go any further.
That man is insane. Power intoxicates and make men giddy. Let's go straight to the line. I'll take it on my phone. This one. I'll press a good night. Yes, loud and clear.
Right. Withholding information from the police is serious business, yeah?
Yes, of course.
It's a criminal offense.
Yes, it is interfering with the investigation.
So the 6 months that we already hold on to that email, the journalist could have been killed.
Yes, he didn't care. It's about his kobo Kobo political ambition.
The journalist gonna get killed within that 6 months.
Yes.
In the old days,
Long time. But what they meet him and pass him, you never could tell. What they meet him and pass him, yes. Yes, what they meet him and pass him. There is no statute bar for these matters, generally for criminal matters, because it offends the state, the people, and the people must take offense to conduct that are considered to be criminal. That is how a criminal law emerges and is executed, and of course ventilated in the courts of the land.
And you know, Lennox?
Yes.
Lennox, you still there?
Yes, you are here.
That boy Nelson is standing up for them like whole ratio on the bridge at Trafalgar, you know. Like Lord Nelson, you know. So I want to see what will come out of that.
Yes.
All right, you go ahead. I'm going now.
Yeah, okay, then, my friend. Okay, my friend. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's continue with his shenanigans and his insincerity. And a man that is, as one caller said, the scum of the Trinidad and Tobago earth. Self-serving. Look at Balize House. And he cannot account and will not account in a time when he's telling us to belt tighten. And at the same time, piling on the pressure, property tax, increase in electricity notwithstanding, quite apart from the overall and general increases, consequential of removing subsidies. And he has the audacity, the temerity, the God, both he and Imbert, to tell us it ain't no big thing. But all of that coming from one salary. One salary. And they're not tackling, of course, the business community who could easily pass on the increased cost as they are doing now. As they are doing now. With the minimum wage. It is now 20, all right? They're asking people, they're asking their employees to come to work later, to cut away at 2 hours. Tell them when they are on lunch, it is on their own time and not on company time, to, of course, avoid having that hour be calculated as part of the day's earning for the employee. Yes, that is happening, particularly in the 1% establishments, whether it be in the area of fast food, whether it is in the area of the sale of haberdasheries, cloth and so on. Yes. Whether it is in the area of security. Let's go to Rowley again and hear how he twists and turns, believing that somehow he's fooling us. We must extrapolate and tell him as it is that he's a damn fool, 1, that he's a criminal, 2, that he's a rapist, 3, and that he's a pedophile, 4, and that, of course, he's the scum of the earth, 5, and a 6th one is that he's incompetent and must get the hell out of office. He and his bunch of criminals. Thieves.
You know why? Let me tell you why, because I think your colleagues need to know. You are the gentleman who stood outside the Hall of Justice for hours waiting for me to come out of the court when I sued the Integrity Commission. And you waited and took a picture with the bars in front at Carnival time.
Waiting there.
And had me coming out with the bars in front of me, and the headline then was Rowley appears in court. You remember that? I, who sued the Integrity Commission, I appear in court. When somebody appears in court, you know what that means? It means that they were taken to court for some criminal matter. That, go and check the archives in the Express, and you will find that there, and that was your doing. And you coming to ask me now about the what? I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know.
So, let me ask you a question.
I am not going to answer you.
So I don't have any personal project.
It is not personal. I am just pointing out the role that the media is playing when there's malice. And if you believe the nonsense that somebody put on social media about me and due diligence, while I am representing this country as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago with dignity that I'm not accustomed to, you're on your own with that. I am not going to go down that road with you. While I am representing this country as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago with dignity that you're not accustomed to, you're on your own with that. I am not going to go down that road with you. While I am representing this country as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago with dignity that you're not accustomed to, you're on your own with that. I am not going to go down that road with you. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. I will not go down there with you. If you know something otherwise, you print it without my comment. Is there any other question?
Sir, on March 16th...
Is there any other question from anybody else?
So on March 16th, you appointed Mr. Reginald Armour as the Attorney General.
If I was, regardless of the feathers I may have had in my cap, if I was being led by Alan Alexander, I will consider, it's quite possible I might have considered myself a junior too.
You know what that is all about, right? Well, just in case you don't, let me tell you. It is about his selection of Armour to replace, of course, Alwari, a fella demitting office in total disgrace, but of course with reluctance by Rowley. But because it was politically suicidal to keep him, because of the Vincent Nelson fiasco and the indemnity agreement that Alwari drafted up, and the cabinet, he said, would have been aware, including Rowley. Rowley, of course, put him to be Minister of Local Government, and then claim that the cabinet didn't know. And don't get me vexed before I play that, you know. Don't get me vexed. The fact of the matter is that Rowley has again conspired and disappointed the population in terms of his sincerity. Can never be sincere, totally dishonest. And so he orchestrated another escape route so that he could absolve himself by himself for himself, only because he has the office of Prime Minister. He believed that that is, according to Gary Griffith, a democratic dictatorship, and he is the dictator. Yeah. That's what has happened. That is the reality.
I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. Thank you all very much. Ovashi, you have one more question? Ovashi, I thought you had a real question. I have no thoughts. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Tailoring things towards wrongdoing.
As a brotherhood of wrongdoers, living in jail.
You could live in hill or vale. Your skin could be dark or pale. Still you shake and quail.
Let me ask you a question.
I am not going to answer you.
Sir, I don't have any personal project.
It is not personal. While I am representing this country as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago with dignity that you're not accustomed to. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. You are the gentleman who stood outside the Hall of Justice for hours waiting for me to come out of the court. And you waited and took a picture with the bars in front and had me coming out with the bars in front of me. And the headline then was, Rowley appears in court.
Living in jail. You could live in hill or vale. Your skin could be dark or pale. Still you shake and quail.
I'm a great fan of the media, as you know. I'm a great fan of the media, as you know.
You're sure you of her innocence?
What do you think she told me? What we talked about? Her guilt? Are you implying that she told me yes, she was guilty of taking public money and I told her assistant? Is that what you say? Are you implying that she told me about her guilt and I covered it up?
Let's get rid of this nincompoop. I think we have had enough of it. Ad nauseum. He's simply despicable. He's simply disrespectful. And he's simply evil. Of course, in the background, you see the spill in Tobago, the oil spill. And of course, we will, of course, examine critically, but as I said, watch it. The fact that Rowley talking the dayman vessels now and that allocate money is because the Americans would have told him, what you coming to us for? You prefer to buy OPV, but yet still the problem exists. So he and Hines are like headless chicken all over the place, don't want to tell us, reluctant to tell us, but when issues like this come and the question of protection of our borders become, of course, a very live matter, he then says, well, you know, only last week, only recently, the cabinet approved a not so substantial amount of money for the repairs of all of the dayman vessels, etc., etc. That nincompoop. That fella who will eat his vomit. Some say, they prefer to say he suffered from copophagia. Copophagia. What that is? Check it out. But it means someone who eat their own filth. Copophagia. That is the Rowley we're talking about. And with a straight face, will not say sorry. Will not say I apologize to Kamala Prasad Bisesa for criticizing the Kuva hospital that came in handy in order, of course, to treat with, even though that too collapsed, even though it was mismanaged, but at least it was a major player in the COVID response by this incompetent government. He wouldn't say thank you for the dayman vessels, but oh, he's going to repair now after 8 years. After 8 years. And he's so stupid when, of course, at the end of his first term, by 2020, he was interviewed and reviewing, of course, his performance. And specific to Tobago, he was asked the question, what would he have done differently as Prime Minister at the end of his first term? You know what he turned and say? And don't get me vexed before I play it or find it and I bring it tomorrow, you know. You know what he said? He said sending back Bay Ferries. You know what I say? He said sending back Bay Ferries. Weiss Hines was up and down the place boasting when he was the temporary Minister of Works, saying that he had to send them back. And it saved Trinidad and Tobago money. Here it is, Rowley, at the end of his term, I haven't asked the critical question as to whether or not you have done justice to your fellow man in Tobago. He then, of course, says that he regrets, of course, sending back Bay Ferry. Yes. In other words, acknowledging the collapse of the sea bridge. And then believe he could buy two boats that are questionable. One constructed, of course, in Australia, the other one in Vietnam. And in modern times, you have a boat looking like some kind of, I consider to be a shrimp trawler. Very little, the seated accommodation, you can recline. But that is supposed to be a passenger vessel, talking about, of course, the Boco Reef and the other one, the PJ, the PA. The other one, yes. That is the fella that we call Rowley here for you. Totally wicked. The seats can recline. The old ones, the Spirit, and the other passenger vessel, they had reclining seats. People could have been comfortable. He buy new boats at tremendous amount of money, and the seats can recline. The seats can recline, people. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
A pleasant good night to the Honorable.
Pleasant good night to you as well.
Did anybody try to ask this fella if he know, if he know the meaning of the word dignity? You start lying on a sitting prime minister coming up the road, insulting the integrity of these reporters and them. But then again, some of them just look for you too. Right? Why it is this fella don't even think about what you be talking about. I wonder if you ever watch in the mirror and make them kind of speech against the mirror. Find out if this fella know the meaning of dignity. I know it's late, but I'll call tomorrow night again.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But I can say off the cuff clearly, if he does know the meaning, it is abstract because he don't practice it. And you ask him to look in the mirror, I want to tell you that he break enough mirrors watching himself. Why you think he has a artificial bald head? Why you think he has an artificial bald head? He don't like what he sees when, of course, the head of hair that will grow from behind his, or from his occipital region of his cranium, of his skull, and come to his temporal region on both sides. In other words, he don't like it to see himself with a hairstyle like Wade Mark or that of Dr. Tim Gopi Singh. He don't like that at all. Who wear their biological gift, if you want to call it that. I don't see that as a curse. With pride and dignity, they wear their bald head. He shaves his head every day because he doesn't like to look at what he sees in the mirror and then try to pretend that what he's wearing as a hairstyle is a natural bald head. That is why he's the first man I know trying to make a artificial bald head look natural. That rapscallion. So to talk about mirror, he doesn't like what he sees. So don't talk about mirror for Rowley. He has a face, a countenance only a mother would love. Only a mother would love. Yes. And it is clear there are some people who relate ugliness and sin. Yeah. Well, it is clear that if ugliness was sin, it is clear Rowley clearly is a devil. Clearly is a devil if ugliness is sin. The devil that he is. A pleasant good night. A pleasant good night.
Hey, a pleasant good night, Mr. Lennox. You sure his hair does grow on the head or fur?
Whatever.
Because I more believe it's fur growing on the head. and you know the way I was showing just now with the journalist. That journalist he's saying way implying I say so that the same journalist he say we're supposed to have drinks, it's Christmas time.
Yes.
And she said, well, maybe the none of the alcoholic preference. He said,
Yeah,
but guys,
trying
not
to
drinks.
flirt.
And he
Flirt
said,
with our
you
face.
see how this man, when the fox can get the grapes and he tired jump start to bark at us. So I believe it's not here on the head, I feel it's full. The man afraid the full growth and people get to see true identity. Good night, Mr. Lennox, and have a good night.
Yes, same to you. Well, people, we have come to the end of tonight's exercise because I don't want anybody to call in and then tell me it's not fur or hair, but it's grass that's growing on their head. So before that comes, let me, of course, say to you, pleasant rest of the night. God bless. Of course, don't forget tomorrow morning, the ground report, Andy, Mikey, and myself. And, of course, as you know, Andy is still, of course, engage in rest and reflection, possibly. But I want to say that those of you who, of course, can make a contribution to Andy, it was raised on the ground report this morning. I think I have an obligation to raise it here again on the corridor transformation. After all, we are colleagues. But of course, tune in to the ground report in the morning to get, of course, the WhatsApp number that you can call Andy directly at, or send him a text and he will respond. All right. If not, of course, you can call if you're getting problems. You can call, of course, my assistant. You can get my assistant at, of course, the number that is before you now, 336-6594, 336-6594. I trust that people are having their wonderful Valentine's outing tonight, sponsored by the Arima Broadcasting Network. I know that they have their Valentine's night. Should I say ball? It sounds like a ball to me. Those of you who are so kind and, of course, you want to have a better half. Spend a Valentine nights, should I say, comfort. Yes, the Valentine. Of course, all of the lovers out there and all of those who have fallen in love recently and have not fallen out of love at all, had that love. And of course, those who are yet to fall in love, we still have faith. Have faith. Have faith. One day. But the time, of course, I have Valentines that are out there, and of course, I myself will be cuddling tonight with my own Valentine. I want for the rest of the night. And of course, we will see each other tonight on the corridor transformation from 8 o'clock, barring all circumstances. Remember, continue on the George Street facility, and as I did running straight. Marlon Blacks, who eventually went to play for the East. Then I showed you last night that Gabriel, who went on scholarship through entirely sponsored by the Indian government because of the community intervention that we would have given. Because we have some other things that we would want to share with you in terms of the achievements which will be instituted when we get over there in full on George Street, as we make our intervention in the lives of these young people who have been disappointed, who have been dealt a sense of hopelessness. Yes, it's important that we understand that we must preempt scenes like like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this emancipation
Rowley attempting, of course, to
celebration
pacify
in 2004 thereabouts.
and incapable
there was a big event
so
in our
doing.
parliament because there was a project that was started, was a pilot project to focus on trying to prevent the young of the African population in the urban areas from going astray and going so far astray that their behavior could threaten the nation. That project.
And that is the young people we are talking about. If we do not do something about it, those young people are going to take charge. Look what they are doing, of course, to a senior citizen, to take a bag. And as I said, Rowley is no different to them. As he steals from us, mismanage our affairs, and then, of course, come in our faces.
I have nowhere to put my 7 train. Why go with 7 train?
Yes, I think
on the road.
that you
them people crazy about
as the police and the house.
Today. Tomorrow night, of course, I will show you another excerpt of what we have been able to accomplish by making those interventions that we have boasted about from time to time. Yes, indeed. We also, of course, in those days gone by, we would have sent a dossier of anti-crime and social and human capacity building initiatives. Look the response there from Manning then, 1,000 pages. I intend, of course, to deposit same with, of course, the appropriate improvement, meaning that current circumstance, because that would have been somewhere in 2007, thereabout, or before that. And send that, of course, to Kabla Prasad Bisesa and, of course, the UNC's crime initiative, looking for ideas and circumstance. As I told you, we expect a plethora of foreign dignitaries to be visiting. And if you have a contribution to make, we will appreciate. And we have been, of course, communicating with hardwares and other entities such as those that may be repairing or have computers, etc., so as to populate our computer literacy program. All of that and more. When we roll out the George Street facility, you will hear all about it. I will share it with you simply because we have social media and we need to be transparent and accountable. After all, no one could pay me for that. And as I said, I will work free for Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. But if Rowley and they want me to engage for them, then we have some serious pecuniary negotiations to take place. And I will still come here and call him a rapist and a pedophile. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because what I can do, none of them can do. And what I can do, they need a fellow like me to do. The entire PNM is simply indolent, weak, nefarious, self-serving, evil, and greedy. Yes, indeed, people. That is the reality of Trinidad and Tobago today under Rowley. See you tomorrow night. God bless. Bye-bye.
Protect the future. Vote PNM. I want to invoke the doctor and then write him a letter. I want to ask him a question, if he knew what was going on. The other day I was passing, I hear people complaining. He is the man with the answer, but he quite over yonder. They saying snake in the Palisade. Snake in the Palisade.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Snake in the Palisade, and they biting hard. Snake in the Palisade. I'm sorry for Trinidad. Big snakes in the country, man, they worse than Mappy P. When they making the racket, they just dress up in nice jacket. Some big fat mackerel drink out the oil in the oil well. I don't know how they found the key, but I hear they empty the treasury. Snake in the Palisade. Snake in the Palisade. Snake in the Palisade. And they biting hard. Snake in the Palisade. Destroying Trinidad.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
I want to question the hunters who does hunt down the squatters. They just cut down your hammock. They don't care if you sleep on rock. While them snakes in the country only pulling their belly. I want to ask what causing that, but afraid they shoot off my hat. I'm telling you, snake in the Palisade. Snake in the Palisade. Snake in the Palisade. And they biting hard. Snake in the Palisade. I'm sorry for Trinidad. I hear in the boomer. The country in danger. Them snake have no feelings. They just bite up anything. I hear they bite up the money and have the country in jeopardy. They bite up the pipeline. No water for the swine. I don't know what they would do next. They bite up a whole racing complex. Snake in the Palisade. Snake in the Palisade.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Snake in the Palisade. And they biting hard. Snake in the Palisade. I'm sorry for Trinidad. I'm there, I'm a hammer. Do I am, do I am, do I am.